Okay, so we're continuing on our Mishlei Mishlei Chanukah pesukim is what we're calling them, right? So the real pasuk we're aiming to get is this one, is 623. Ki ner mitzvah v'torah or v'derech chaim tochachos musar. But I think we have to read it in context because it says ki. And so I was looking at the most proximate context, and it looks like the most proximate context starts with 20. Now, you can argue that the context should start earlier than that, or you could also argue that the context should go later than this. But I'm drawing the line here. Okay, if we need to, we'll go further. But I did see some people, like I think Sadi go and groups it like this as well. So we're in good company. Okay, so let's translate it first. And again, we're going to focus on 23, but I think we do need to understand these other parts. Okay. Nitzor b'ni mitzvah savicha v'al titosh Torah simecha. So I would say, my son, guard the commandment of your father and don't forsake the so how would you what's your go-to translation for Torah, or translations I should say?
Teaching, I guess.
Yeah, teaching. And I'd say there are I guess at least two more translations. I guess it depends on how you divide it.
Like what we traditionally call Torah, like
right. So okay, Torah, right?
Yeah.
The actual Torah, right? And then so I guess I don't know if you'd say, was it, say again?
I said the Pentateuch.
Oh, I don't think that's I don't think that is a meaning. I think when we say Torah,
Okay, yeah.
we would say like the entirety of Judaism, not just the Chumash. I don't think. So
Okay.
you say that this is just an extension of teaching, but instruction is another one, and then I guess law, right? Is or system of law. Yeah, all right. These are all possibilities here. Okay, so don't forsake the Torah of. Hold on a second here. Of your mother. Of your mother. Okay, fine. 21. Kashrem al libecha tamid. So bind them to your heart constantly. Andem al gargarosecha. Adorn your neck with them, I think is the typical way that's translated. 22. All right. Behis halecha tancha oscha. When you walk, it will guide you. Tancha oscha, like I'm trying to think of pasuk for neche. Lech neche as am hazeh. Okay, fine. It will guide you, or it will lead you, maybe. B'shach b'cha tishmor lecha. When you lie down, it will watch over you. The hakitzosa hi sisichacha. How do you translate that one? When you wake up, hi sisichacha.
Okay, so
it will cause you to laugh, maybe.
Not sachak.
Oh, so conversation.
Yeah,
right?
conversation. Right. It will converse with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we get to our pasuk. Ki ner mitzvah v'torah or, because I assume you have to translate this the other way. Not that a candle is a mitzvah, but rather a commandment is a lamp, v'torah or, and Torah. Okay, so let's just do this here. Torah. Actually, I'm gonna do a lowercase and italicized Torah, just so we don't assume that this is talking about like davka, like proper noun Torah. Okay, and Torah is light. V'derech chaim tochachos musar. How do you translate that last half?
And the way of life is rebukeful rebuke.
Yeah, right. So usually tochach and musar can be synonyms, right? So is rebukes of musar, right? So that's
Yeah,
gonna be a little bit
okay,
hard to translate. Yeah. But yeah, we can't say it's rebukes of rebuke. Yeah. So just even before we go to the meforshim here, this is an example where like you know, not only do you need to read this in context because of the grammar of key, but like I think if you did not read this in context, you would automatically assume that Torah is referring to like Torah with a capital T. Okay. But you see from here that the Torah it's clearly talking about, and the mitzvah it's clearly talking about is mitzvah savicha and Torah simecha. That's undeniable. That's the subject of the passage. Now you could say that mitzvah savicha and Torah simecha is referring to God's Torah, but like you have to put it in terms of mitzvah savicha and Torah simecha. You know, so that's just a good, you know, methodology point about how, you know, sometimes you really need to look at the context just to get the basic shot. Okay, so in terms of the minimalist meforshim here, let me just show you what I found. So there's no Mitzudas Tzion on 23. I kind of focused on 23 when I was looking at the minimalist meforshim here. So Sadigon, I don't even know if this is different, but Sadigon says ki hamitzvah ner v'hatorah or v'derech ha'chaim heim tochachos hamusar. So he adds a lot of haze, okay, because the mitzvah is a lamp and the Torah is light and the way of life is the rebukes of the musar. Okay, so the only thing I get from that is there's a much higher likelihood that he is talking about Torah with a capital T because he's putting all of these as definite articles, you know. So I don't know if that's going to help us or hurt us, whatever. And then I was looking at the Targum Ksuvim, so he says Matul Shraga hu Pukdana, because I think that's just a straight translation, because a commandment that's Pukdana is Shraga is a so Shraga is I think a flame. Actually, I was in the middle of looking at Jastro's when you guys came on. Let me just look at Jastro here. I did not look up Shraga. I'm pretty sure Shraga means flame, but it might be lamp.
I think it might be Aramaic for nair, possibly.
Yeah, that does sound familiar. I
Like,
know
I think the word
story.
the word that it commonly uses is shraga for like any fire-related things.
Yeah, I just don't know if the primary meaning is flame or the primary meaning is candle. Let's see, shraga is lamp, lantern, or light lamp lantern.
Or pile of bricks.
Yeah. All right. So I guess it is really lamp. Okay. So this is a straight translation then. So is a lamp. Okay. Vinimosa nohara. And so I looked up Targum Ksuvim on Mishlei, and it looks like he translates Torah as Nimosa. Now Nimosa is like Nimus or Nomos, right? Which is a I think system of law and
regimen.
Regimen, yeah, is light. The orcha dechai. Oh, now this is the part I thought was interesting. The orcha dechai and a way of life. Umachnusa umardusa and Machnusa. Let me just got the gesture here. Machnusa is rebuke, and then Mardusa is chastisement or punishment. So and rebuke and punishment. So he's learning that last part as a list. So v'derech. So notice he's saying like this, and so ner mitzvah Torah or, and it is, I guess, a derech hachayim, and it is tochachos, and it is musar. Very subtle nuance there, you know.
It's missing a vav or two then.
Say again.
Shouldn't it be v'derech chaim tochachos umusar? Like
no, not necessarily. You can have a list of things in Hebrew without doing the vavs, I think. Yeah.
I thought you either end up doing like every other one is a vav or the last one's a vav. I don't know when you do which, but I thought that's what you
Yeah,
have to do.
I don't have examples on hand, but let's put it this way: clearly, he's learning it that way.
Yeah.
So he knows
Okay,
Hebrew better than
fair
I do.
point,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so and then I just show I don't care about all the pesukim here, but our school says, "Heed my son the command of your father. Do not forsake the teaching of your mother. Tie them to your heart always, and twine them upon your neck. As you go forth, it will guide you. As you recline, it will guard you. And when you awake, it will converse with you. For a commandment is a lamp, and the Torah is light, and reproving discipline." So it's making musar into an adjective. Tochos musar. Is the way of life. Okay, and then living Knox says, for a commandment is a candle, Torah is a light, and moral rebuke is the path of life. And then alters
Isn't
the way.
it's saying, isn't Musar the noun that translated as discipline, and Tocha as reproving?
I don't know.
I thought the other translating Tochachas as
Oh, I guess so. You're right.
modifier.
Discipline. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you're right. That's even weirder though. Okay. Living Knock, I don't think is really adding anything new. And then alter though says stern rebukes. Okay, because he's saying Musar, and I have seen this before. Musar can have the implication of harshness or sternness. Okay, so make of that what you will. I'm actually just going to delete this here. Okay, so again, our focus is going to be on pasuk 23, and we'll just use the rest of them. Look at the rest of them in that light. No pun intended. Okay, so all right. So what are the questions here?
Well, my first impression, and I know this is not accurate, is that it sounds like he's
that a reference
about...
to that wasn't a reference to the Stove View podcast episode this morning, was it?
No, I haven't listened to it yet.
Okay, you'll find out that it is, because it was entirely about first impressions being inaccurate.
I saw a little bit of what you wrote about it.
Yeah.
But, so maybe subconsciously.
Could be.
You know.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my first impressions. Yeah, so my first impressions, which are almost certainly not accurate, are that this is about like tefillin.
Tefillin.
Like, yeah. Because like the lashon of 21 and 22 are very reminiscent of the pesukim that talk about tefillin, because it's like tie them on your heart. It should be on your neck. Okay, that's not, not the same. But then it's in your like halicha. It'll be with you when you go, when you lie down, and when you get up.
Yeah. All right. I hear.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go with that first impression just because that's not really our jam.
Yeah, and also in terms of the way that we're learning Mishlei,
yeah,
this year, that doesn't make sense.
So I think we have
Whoever
to.
gets up to it.
Yeah. We definitely have to ask what Torah and Mitzvah is it talking about, right?
Yeah.
And then let's just get the main questions here. How is Mitzvah like a ner, and how is Torah like or?
Yeah. I'm sure there's a better way to formulate this, but how is it doing all of these anthropomorphisms?
Yeah.
Like.
Right. How
guiding you, watching over you, and conversing with you.
Yeah. So
like
also,
guiding you makes sense from it's clear what that means, like as a mashal.
Mm-hmm.
But like watching over you and conversing with you, I think need explanation.
That's anthropomorphic. So how is it doing all of the anthropomorphic actions in Chaf Aleph? Was it Chaf
22?
Yeah. Here's just a grammatical oddity I'm noticing here now. So Nitzor mitzvahs avicha v'altitos toras imecha kashrem al libecha tamid andem al gagrosecha. So kashrem and andem are plural, right? Bind them and tie them. But then it says b'hisalechacha tanche osach b'shachbacha tishmor alecha v'gitosa hi sisichacha. So it switches to singular, it. So I don't know what to make of
Right,
that.
and then
Yeah.
and then at
Also
the end it kind of like mushes them together into like tochachas moser.
Yeah, that's also
Like
true.
just
Right.
smushes them into one thing.
Yeah.
Also, the first pasuk is singular, I think, right?
Well, it's talking about two things, though, right?
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like the just to add this on to 3, and what is the it? Aren't we talking about mitzvahs avicha and Torahs imecha? Yeah. And then the other thing also is, I would say, is key seems to be giving a reason for Chaf Beis. So how is Chaf Gimel a reason or explanation for Chaf Beis?
Oh,
And that really is mixing metaphors, right? I mean, the whole thing is
Yeah.
mixing metaphors of stuff you decorate yourself with or adorn yourself with, and then this anthropomorphic thing, and then like this. I mean, I guess you could say that the his halacha chatancha oscha fits in with ner and or, because if you're walking in darkness, then you need a ner and or. But when you lie down, it will guard you. I mean, that's a little bit more of a stretch, I guess. If it's well lit, then like maybe people won't attack you. But then when you wake up, it'll converse with you. Okay, that's not, you don't talk with candles, or.
Yeah, it's clearly talking about Aladdin's lamp.
Yes, it's what's inside the lamp that counts. Yeah.
Yeah. I was reading it as the key was going on all 3 pesukim.
That's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess, so what is it? How is explanation for the pesukim above? Okay, for the pesukim above, and which pesukim does the key relate to? Yeah.
I think so. The just in terms of like the way that each pasuk is formulated,
Yeah.
it sounds like the first 2 are instructive, and then the second, sorry, the third is descriptive of what. It sounds to me like it's describing what will happen when you, if you do the first 2, and then the fourth is giving some sort of explanation.
Okay, I hear that. Yeah.
Just in terms of the way that like the structure
Right.
seems to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, I mean, I think we got the main questions. I think we should start trying to figure it out then. Yeah. I mean, the weird thing also about Chav Gimel, just to make an observation here, is his halacha chatancha oscha. That in that mushal you are active. You're walking and it's guiding you. It's leading you. And then in Shachva Tishmor Lecha, you are not in a state of activity. You're asleep. So the question is like, how can it exercise this effect on you when you are not conscious? That's a little weird. And hakitoza hisisichacha, that's like equal parties. It is conversing with you. Like it's taking a leading role. B'shachvacha tishmor lecha, it's taking the exclusive active party role. And then hakitoza hisisichacha, I mean, unless sicha is used, I picture sicha as being a two-way street. I don't think it is just talking to you. I think like you are conversing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the watching overview, the way that it sounds to me, sorry, the way that I'm inclined to explain that is that when, like, even when you're not actively doing something, the effects of whatever phenomenon it is are protecting you in some way.
Right.
And I'm being very vague because I don't really know what I don't have a clear idea of what exactly this is talking about.
Yeah.
But
I get the same vibe.
Yeah, like, let's say you say like the if like like a society of law and order will watch over you.
Right.
It's not that they're actually standing there guarding you while you sleep. It's that you don't have like because that's how the society is. Then you don't need to be concerned that people are gonna
Right.
like break into your house and steal from you or like kill you.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. So then I wonder if we could categorically break these three down even without knowing what the Torah and the mitzvah are. So when you sleep, it'll protect you means that there are certain things that it will set up that will continue to yield benefit even when you're not using them actively. Hisalecha tancha oscha, I would say just on the surface means that it will guide your decisions.
Yeah.
And then
help you make better decisions.
Right. Hakitosa hisusichacha, I'm inclined to say it means that it will like it'll inform the discourse, like in other words, it'll what is sicha here? I mean, sicha typically means informal conversation. That's another just connotation here, like sichas yiladim or like sicha bein adam leishto or sichas tamid chachamim. Sicha is like is casual,
Could it be that it's talking about like when you sort of like kind of really internalize the musar / mitzvah / whatever, and then you can kind of like bring your own like knowledge and like bring it into conversation with like things that you like come up with on your own.
Yeah,
like,
so
this makes sense, but this doesn't make sense, and like
right. So I was gonna, when you started talking, I was gonna say based on how you started it off, and tell me if this is the same thing, is like it becomes part of your inner monologue in a way, meaning that you've internalized the ideas well enough that these are like the factors that you turn over in your head, and that you like, it informs that sort of like weighing and like musing. Is that different or same or?
Yeah, pretty much. And then like just also, I mean, I don't know, maybe this isn't right, but like just another thing that like that you're it sounds like with sicha, like you are all like you're bringing something to it, and like you're like bouncing it off things that
yeah, so
firsthand. Let's say
difficulty with that, I'm not saying this is insurmountable, but the difficulty with that is like if we're talking here about the knowledge or the way of thinking that you get. Okay, maybe this is the way to put it then. Okay, like let's say, for example, you learn an idea in Mishlei, and then you are encountering real world circumstance. So there are your thoughts, and then there's the thoughts of Mishlei, like, is that the type of thing that you mean when you say you're bringing something to it? Because it's not like it is definitely instructing you. You're not instructing it, whatever the it is. So like, what are you thinking of when you say like you bring something to it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess I was thinking like just the I mean, I guess right, there's like different, like I guess you get like a certain level of Mishlei thought from like directly from your parents, but then there's like this other aspect of like that you get from maybe experience or thinking about it on your own or something. And so that like like yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess this is kind of pointing us in the direction of we need to figure out what the mitzvah savik on Torah method is, I think.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a methodological question?
Yeah.
How does this being part of the intro affect how we should like approach this?
That's Rabbi Zimmer. I don't I can't answer that question without understanding all the surrounding pesukim here. And I don't know how far the context goes. So
okay.
For example, right after this, just to show you, right after this, it says Kiner mitzvah Torah or v'derech tochas lishmarchem eishes ra mechelkas lashon nachriya al tachmod yafya bilvavecha tikach v'aveh. So it goes into talking about the woman, the strange woman. So like that's part of the mashal of the entire first first part of Mishlei. Before this, it's talking about stuff that just sounds like it's talking about laziness.
I think there's a pesucha before this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I also don't even know if that matters. Let me just see. Hold on. Oh wait, no, that's not how to do it. There's a pesucha before this, like before this chapter.
Before the first one that we've been doing. Before 20.
Look on Machon Mamre and see if that. They're pretty good about listing the pesukim and stumos. Mishlei.
I was going to point to it on my screen and I realized that was not going to help at all.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so it's possible that this is connected here, but I don't even know what to make of the pesuchos and stumos in Mishlei. I mean, clearly here, this pesuchos and this one is a thing because it's listing 7 things and lists all of them, and this is clearly related because it's a lazy person, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not saying
like for example, like here, it has the Ishis Ra, okay, but then you have a break, and then here's also talking about a guy who's like going with his friend's wife,
Yeah.
And so like I don't know. That's why I'm staying out of it.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's not a bad question, but it's just I don't know enough to answer. Right?
Yeah. Can I ask a particular methodological question about this being in the intro?
Yeah.
So would it make sense, like, if the idea we come out with has to do with like a general statement about like following a system or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Assuming it's like like assuming it follows our other principles of learning Mishlei, is that a reasonable thing to come out with? Like, I feel like if it's in the middle of, let's say, chapter 19, it wouldn't make sense for it to make a sweeping statement about how to, let's say, relate to like a system of law.
Yeah.
Would it make sense here in the?
Yeah, I mean, I am. My general assumption is that since this is in the introduction, then this is introductory in nature, and that it is talking about large things.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So just going through the candidates here, and we I think we've mentioned this before, but like mitzvah savicha v'tor zimecha. So either that is talking about your particular parents, or this is talking about Shlomo HaMelech as like the surrogate parent. He's the one giving his because we as the students are referred to as beni, in Mishlei. So he could be the av and the aim, or, and this is the harder one, the inclination is to say it's talking about Hashem, but then the question is who's the mother, right? So and then you get into like these forced explanations, like like there are pesukim where I've seen meforshim say that the Torah imecha is Knesset Yisrael, and that's like in the mashal that Chazal use of like Hashem is the Chasan and like Klal Yisrael is the Kala. You have the Rabag who says that Hashem is the father and the active intellect is the mother, which is a forced explanation in a different way, so like it makes it difficult. So like I'm inclined to not say that it's talking about Torah and mitzvos, like of Taryag and system of Torah. Yeah.
So this is almost certainly a methodological no-no. So the Mishlei 1:8 has a similar lashon.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, when we were reading this, I was like trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out if I was like misremembering the pasuk and it was really in the Torah. Because that pasuk is Shema b'ni Musar Avicha, and then the second half is the same.
And then the 21 is also similar, right?
Oh, is it?
Let's just hold on.
He livyas chen heim l'roshecha V'hanakim ligar grosecha.
Yeah, right. So also it's a head and neck thing as opposed to heart and neck thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I think you're correct. Is that like, it would be reasonable to look there, but we're not going to do it in the interest.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ram Mikias.
Yeah. So look, I'm inclined to take this as the mashal of Shlomo HaMelech, and that this is talking about Mishleic mitzvos and Torah. Okay, so let's work with that assumption and see where it leads us, especially because, I mean, the way it concludes, not that this is a proof, but the way it concludes of Derech Chaim Tochos Musar, like, that fits in much more to Mishlei than it does to like Taryag mitzvos, you know?
Wait, so who's the mother then?
So I think both Shlomo's the father and the mother.
What?
Yeah. I think it's like
surprise.
I think it's indicating like parental type relationship of guiding. But and I'm good with that explanation as long as you define what Torah mitzvos of Shlomo is.
Yeah.
How would you like define that?
Right. That's what we have to figure out. Yeah, I don't think the Imecha is Shlomo HaMelech's real world Avodah Zarah wives.
Wait, could you say that that it really is talking about like specifically your father and mother, but it's just referring to like the Mishleic like practical decision making that you get from
it could definitely be doing that, and you would have to posit though that it's talking about a father and mother who are giving you good Torah and mitzvos. You know, like I don't think this means like specifically like every single child, no matter what, should guard the mitzvah of their father and the Torah of their mother. Like, you know, that it's predicated on the fact that it's good Torah and mitzvahs.
Right, that's true.
Yeah. Part of the difficulty with Torah and mitzvahs here is that, and I don't know if this is necessary, but like I think we're programmed to think of it as Torah is a component part. Sorry, mitzvahs are a component part of Torah. You know, but that's not the only way to think of it. You know, like you could say, for example, that mitzvah is a law, whereas Torah is just a teaching, you know, and it's different modes of instruction as opposed to part and whole, you know. And I think both of them fit into 23, because you could say that Ner is a particular source of light, whereas Or is the phenomenon of light itself. Or you can say that Ner is one way of illuminating things, but then say like daylight is another way of illuminating things, you know? So I think the mashal tolerates a lot of things. Oh, I'm just realizing now, by the way, hold on a second. I'm just realizing the way I don't know if this is for you. I was thinking of 23 as two sets of mashalim. Ner and Or are one mashal, and then Derech Chaim Tochos Musar is another one. But if the Ner and the Or are allowing you to walk on the Derech, then it's all one mashal. In a way, maybe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say about the Torah and mitzvah. So for the mashal in 23, you could say that like a lamp has like a defined structure, whereas light is more like general and diffuse.
Yeah.
Which
right
like parallels. Yeah,
and that would fit into to both approaches, right? Because well, actually, it would fit in better to the idea of Torah being teaching, I think.
Yeah, I was saying if you say Torah is teaching.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Then
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was an addendum to that explanation.
Yeah, I mean, and that also fits in with the stereotype of the father and the mother, that the father's, you know, again, just in the stereotypical father-mother relationship, then the father lays down the rules, so to speak, whereas the mother is giving a much more like informal, casual type of guidance, you know, like through role modeling or through informal education, you know.
Whoa, crazy thought.
Yeah.
Maybe the Torah Mecha is the first half of Mishlei. and the mitzvah halicha is
Whoa!
the second half of Mishlei.
Wow. That is a crazy thought. I like it. It's a speculative, but it's appealing. Interesting. It's not crazier than saying that the imecha is the active intellect. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But by the first half of Mishlei, you mean the first 9 prakim, right?
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Chapters. Yeah.
Right, the introduction.
Chapter 15, pasuk 32. That's yeah. And one thing I do want to show you, by the way, in the actually no, let's not do meforshim today. By the way, are you guys okay if we do if we do what we usually do? Like it clearly today is thinking about it on our own, and let's tomorrow do meforshim on it. And I was thinking, by the way, I was going to say this at the end, but like because my I'm going for Lumdeha for Friday. I'm going over the thing I wrote the blog post on, so I don't need the gauntlet for tonight's topics in Jewish philosophy. So I was thinking of just doing. We haven't had question and answer in any form in a long time, so I was thinking maybe just doing Thursday night or tonight question and answer, and that way we will still get in question and answer and not miss out on that by doing Mishlei tomorrow.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. I also don't know what derech chaim means. Like, I think we automatically think of it the way that Sadigon translates is derech hachaim, a way of life. But as like in a sense of like, this is how you are living. But it could also mean like a derech chaim as opposed to a derech maves, like a path that leads to life as opposed to a path that leads to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I mean, I think without the hay, that's kind of how it sounds.
Yeah, I think it's mashma that way also.
I have just a couple of thoughts that
Yeah, hold on just to piggyback on that for 1 second, is that if we are assuming that Chaf Gimel is its own mushal, so then it is interesting because, like, if the whole mushal is what you need to walk, so you need a source of light, which is the lamp. You need it to provide light, but then if you're not on a path that is a path of life, then it's not going to do you any good. Like if the path leads off of a cliff, then the Ner and the Or are not going to be doing good, So I'm starting to be inclined to think of it as one mushal.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Like the lamp/light let you see where you're going, and then if you're on, and then you have to be on a path in order to benefit from that.
Right. Yeah, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, just about like 21.
Mm-hmm.
Binding them to your heart sounds like internalizing them.
Yeah.
And adorning your neck with them kind of sounds like taking like pride in them.
That's interesting.
And then this is the most speculative part of my thoughts right now. Maybe you could say that the binding/adorning is taking them and making them into one like cohesive unit, which is why 22 is singular.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that part. That part I actually like.
Wait, what was that? What was it?
That the 21 is binding to your heart and then adorning your neck, and then that somehow forms one unit or one entity, which is why 22 switches to the singular. Like that combo of bound to your heart and around your neck, that will guide you and protect you and converse with you.
Nice.
Yeah. One thing I'll just mention that the Rabbeinu Yonah says on 1:8, okay, is, or 1:9, I guess, is hold on just a second. Is it 1:9? Actually, I should just look up the Rabbeinu Yonah here. No, it's here. No. What was it? 1:9. Anakim lagargarosecha. Just because we don't really know what imagery that's supposed to like Isaac, what did you say that the on your neck is like
That's like that you take pride in it.
Take pride in it, right. So some sort of jewelry. So we don't really know what the connotation of the jewelry is. So here's what Rabbeinu Yonah says. So Vinyan Hamashal, Aide Kabbalah Musar, this is again in 1:8. Aide Kabbalah Musar V'tuv HaHanhaga Tie HaChachma Mifo Eres Umuhuderes. So it's going to adorn, glorify, and adorn and beautify. Imigiu Lamalas HaChachma Vadas V'yudvarav Nishmaim Umukubalim Alev Shomehem. So that's the crown. That's not our mashal. But then he says Ki Rosh Mashal HaChachma Asher Sham HaChachma V'Kokos HaSeicha V'Hagargeres. So what's the neck? Mashal Ledibur. So he says it's a mashal for speech. Kia kol over ahagaron. So the voice goes through the larynx. Vamru mechabre hamusar ma tova hachachma hiape es maaseha. Anyway, so hold on a second. Yeah. So that's the part I wanted to say here is that I would not have taken that direction, but the adorn your neck with them is Rabbeinu Yonah says that it's something you talk about. So that could be as well, meaning that there are. I think that is. Yeah, I mean, I hear the thing taking pride in it also because that's the jewelry is a glorification thing, but I think
the two are related.
Yeah, right. But I can see it being a closer relationship of heart and speech, than heart and like adornment, like the Torah. The Torah is big on that also of like, Zachor b'pev al tishkach b'lev, Right. And like in other words, you need both. You need to have the ideas, which is like libecha is in your mind, right? Which we should remember, by the way, also that heart means mind as well. But then you need to constantly be reinforcing them through talking about them. And if you have one without the other, like if you just have the ideas in your mind and you learn them, but you're not like they don't become a part of the conversation, so then that's not really going to affect you. And if you're talking about it, but you don't actually like internalize it, if it's just like on the surface and not being internalized, and that's also not good. Like to me, that seems like a closer way to like unify them.
Yeah.
So that's like one. So we're saying that's really one thing of like a real internalization. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
By the way, just for full disclosure here, I think the I don't think that the singular to plural question is one that has to be answered, but I do think it works out. Meaning, I think you could just say like, oh yeah, he's just playing fast and loose with the number of nouns, but because it's poetic or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it would be weird if it said, I don't know, when you walk, they will guide you. When you're asleep, they will protect you, and then you'll converse with them. Like it's a better mashal if it's like personifying like the entire thing,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you want to stop here for today, and then we'll tomorrow. Let's come back to it, and then I'm gonna try to find one of the meforshim who like does a good job of giving a unified explanation, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
yep. All right. So that'll be the plan, and yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you later.
Maybe we can also define what Torah Shlomo is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The direction our analysis leads us. All right.
Yeah.
See ya.